Can you even see me? Can you see me? Yeah. The leaf. Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Stephanie and I enjoy having houseplants and posting videos about them. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my Philodendron Xanadu. It is one of my happiest houseplants currently and it's doing really well. I recently posted a short about the Xanadu and a lot of people seem to be interested in it. So I thought, why not film a long form video about my care, watering, and light tips when it comes to this plant. So if this is the kind of content you enjoy, if you like plant content or a little bit of travel content as well, you may want to consider subscribing to the channel. Is it here or here? And if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Okay, let's get started. In the beginning of my plant collection journey, I stumbled upon the Philodendron Tahiti. I'll insert some pictures of this plant. And I was in love with it at the time. And I think even now, the Philodendron Tahiti is a little bit harder to find. It's still an uncommon houseplant. Then I stumbled upon the Philodendron Xanadu. So the Xanadu looks very much so like the Tahiti. So I was like, I'll take it. Was able to get it at my local plant shop. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's get this plant so that you can take a close look at it. Try not to fall. So this is my Philodendron Xanadu. So that's why I haven't had it as yet and showed it in frame. So I will get an aerial shot of this plant and I will show it now and then. But yeah, this is how it looks. Sort of takes over. So this plant, I really love it because of its finger-like leaves. Very, very pretty. When the plant is actually quite young, the leaves are not as lobed. So when I got this plant at my local plant shop, it was very small and it was sad looking. I'm so sorry. I don't have a picture of what it looked like at the time, but it was honestly maybe this big, like this tall, and it had two tiny plants in it. Again, it wasn't that popular of a houseplant at the time. At least they didn't have that many of it, so I didn't have a wide selection to choose from. So this plant looks a lot like, let me just mention this, it looks a lot like the Philodendron Xanadu. The leaves do not get as big. Can you see me? Yeah. The leaves do not get as big as a Xanadu. So at least I've had this plant for about, I would say 2 years now. I've had this plant for about 2 years now, and this is probably one of the biggest leaves I've ever gotten. So I would say this is a mature plant and it doesn't get very big. So if you like the Philodendron Xanadu, I have two of them, but you don't like how big. When they're indoors, they can get quite leggy and unruly. Then I think the Xanadu is an inexpensive option and you may like it. And also it's a nice alternative to the Tahiti or the Mayoai or Mayoe. It looks very similar. Anyways, so light. I've noticed that this plant likes a lot of light. When I say it likes a lot of light, it doesn't like direct sunlight because it will burn the leaves. Let's see, I can show you right here. See? So I have some browning of the leaves. I've always grown this plant next to a south-facing window, and I've noticed that's when it performs its best. For just a small space of time, I have put it in maybe a north-facing window, but I noticed it grew very slowly and the stems got really, really long. So, and you would think, oh, well, your plant is only leggy because it's, you have it too far away from the light. No, this plant just loves to have long stems. At least mine does. And even at the south-facing window, I still have like really, really long stems. So this plant loves light. It will take as much light as you can give it before it starts getting very leggy and not as pretty. So I think anything like a south facing, but not directly in front to get direct sunlight, a few feet back, or a west or east facing window would be really nice. But I think west and south would be the sweet spots for this plant, providing that you're in the northern hemisphere. So because this plant likes so much light. It enjoys having a lot of light, at least mine does. It needs a lot of water. So I found myself watering this plant very often. And again, if you don't water it often enough, you will get the browning happening on the edges of the leaves. So if you miss waterings, you will have this happening at the edging of the leaves. It likes a lot of water, and if you miss it, it will slow down its growth and it will get brown tips. I fertilize this plant every single time I water it because this plant, it grows fast. Like, it pushes a lot of new growth. It is a fast growing plant. And what I like about it is that it doesn't lose leaves very easily. So if losing leaves breaks your heart, you can't stand sensitive plants that lose leaves very easily, this one is for you. Like, it's very forgiving in that sense, and it's very hardy. It grows, it's a very fast growing hardy plant. So this takes me to, if you notice here, I have this plant growing in water. So we'll get into that. The reason that I put this plant in water, and again, this is just water, and don't worry, I'll give you close-ups of what this looks like. So the reason that I have this plant growing in water was because I didn't like how the plant grew when it was next to like a west, like an east facing window or north facing window. It grew very leggy. So I wanted to keep it near an area where it got a lot of light. So because of this, the water dries out quicker, and I just couldn't get to the plant fast enough. It was just so thirsty all the time. And what I would do is, this plant also puts out aerial roots. So I would stick the aerial roots back into the soil. And again, that would like drink up a lot of water and make it grow even faster. And so I just couldn't keep up with the watering of this plant. So I decided to put it straight up into water. No leca, no other, nothing else is in here except water. So I just fill this up with water, and the water always has some fertilizer in it. So about a month and a half ago, I realized I just couldn't keep up with the watering of this plant. It's summer, it's very, very hot. So I just wasn't home as often. So I decided to put this plant into water. For some reason, I put a lot of my plants into water, but this one, I wasn't worried about it at all. So I simply washed up the roots, and if you'd like, I'll also link the video of when I put this plant into water. I already posted a short about the process, and honestly, this plant didn't even notice it. Like, it didn't even slow down, it didn't struggle, nothing. The plant just flourished. It just loves being in water. It drinks up the water very quickly. It is actually the best plant to have in water. The best. It is so low maintenance. All I do is just top up the container. So you could actually see a line for where the water is when I fill it all the way up. And then you could see as the water starts to go down. And yeah, the plant's really happy. When it gets a bit low or when the leaves start to droop, I just fill it back up and it's good to go. It's a happy camper. It's an easygoing plant, I must say. It's super duper easy. And I just ensure to have a little fertilizer in the water every single time I put it in. And the plant's happy. It's growing lots of new growth. When I put this down, I will show you close-ups of the new growth and show you what it looks like. It's a really, really happy plant. Next, let's talk about pests. So this plant does not usually have a lot of pests. So it's not a pest magnet where I would constantly get spider mites on it. It is susceptible to spider mites, like with every other plant, right? It's not perfect. So I believe when you look here, if you look at this leaf here, you could probably, can I say that word? You could probably see the yellow spots on this leaf. So I believe this is due to spider mites. I have found spider mites on this plant. You will see like the white little dots, of the spider mites in the middle of the leaf here or on the underside of the leaf. They like to web, just around the bottom of the leaf here. And so because this plant is such an easy plant to move around, it's not huge. Well, it is big, but it's not like the ones behind me. So I can easily just take it to the sink and wash off the leaves and they're gone. Let's talk about care. When caring for the Xanadu, this is a step that I do just about once a month. So because this plant is in water, occasionally I'll have some green algae or moss growing on the sides of my vase. So then I would simply just pour out the water and clean and wash off all of that algae. Then I would just place the plant back into the vase. If the roots need rinsing off, like if any soil was left behind, that was when I first put it into water. Then I would make sure to clean off any soil or dead roots. But this time the plant was fine. So I'm just going to put it back into the vase and then reintroduce some fresh water that already has my vitamins, sorry, not vitamins, the fertilizer that I prefer to use. This is also a great opportunity to wash off the leaves and clean it off from any dust or mites that you may notice. And there you have it. It goes back home in its sweet spot right next to the window. So with the best timing ever, my camera decided to die on me. We are having an extremely hot day today, so my camera got too hot and shut down. But that's okay, we were able to capture most of the video. So again, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoy content like this, consider subscribing to the channel. But also, I have some other videos that I'm really proud of. You can get to explore some of my other large houseplants in this video right here. So be sure to check out that video or some other ones that I may have on the channel. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.